Dinim Monmas Bishlosha. Monetary laws need 3 judges. It's called a Bezdin. A regular court of 3 judges is called Bezdin. And the 3 we're speaking about are Smuchim. They need an ordination from Moshe Rabbeinu. Zelos v'chavolos Bishlosha. Theft and injuries. Also, to adjudicate that, you need 3 dayanim. Nezik v'chatzi nezik. Damages, 50% tashlumi kev. These are all penalties. Tashlumi amar chamisha b'shlosha. Need 3. Onus v'amafater. Person rapes a 12-year-old girl who's a virgin or seduces her. Hamotzi shemra. So there's, in every one of these cases you have to pay penalty, either 50 for the onus v'amafater or motzi shemra is 100. Where the husband slanders his wife that she committed adultery. B'shlosha divrei meir. Chamomni motzi shemra be'eshim u'shlosha. Motzi shemra you need 23. Although you're dealing with the penalty part of it, but since it's part of the issue, because if in fact she would have committed adultery, it's punishable by death, and for the death penalty you need a Sanhedrin Ketano, which is comprised of 23 judges. Even though in this particular situation we find out the whole thing is baseless, but since if it would have been true, you'd need 23. Therefore, even when you're dealing with the knas, with the penalty part of it, you need 23. And we rule like the Chachomim. Mattos Masei. If you Bezdin rules that a person deserves to be receive lashes, 3 judges are sufficient. Although it's corporal punishment, it doesn't make a difference. Shemrei B'Shmuel Amru was said in the name of Rabbi Shmuel. Be'esem B'Shlosh, you need 23. Although it's not the death penalty, you need 23 judges. Ibra Chodesh, to determine whether the month is a 30-day month or a 29-day month, that's also B'Shlosha, 3. Ibra Shana, what about to add the month, it should be a leap year? B'Shlosha, Divrei Meir, is 3 is enough. From the beginning to 3. You start discussing it with 3 judges. Then you add another 2. You start deliberating. All the issues, should you not. The Gomrim B'Shiva, when you give the verdict that you're going to add the month, you should have 7. But if there were only 3 involved from the beginning till the end, post facto, it's a valid decision, and it's considered a leap year. Smichas Hazakanim, if the Sanhedrin ruled, the Sanhedrin of 71 ruled that something was permitted, and turns out they made a mistake, and the majority of Klal Yisrael already had violated, they have to bring a parhelam dover. So the smicha, leaning on that animal, needs what? Needs bezdin. Arivas eglo b'shlosha, breaking the neck of the calf where you find a corpse outside of a Jewish community. Different shiving. Rabbi Yehuda Omer chamisha, you need 5. Hachalitzva miunin, the release from a widow whose husband died childless. Miunin, that's rabbinical kedushin, where she walks out. B'shlosh has to be done in presence of 3. Neter Vai, you want to redeem the yield of the 4th year of a fruit tree. The first 3 years is called Orlo, has been destroyed. Neter Vai, you take Yerushalayim, Ma'aseh Sheni. The second tithe also has to be taken to Yerushalayim if you want to redeem it. Shein Dov, you're doing it doesn't have a market value because they began rotting. B'shlosha, to make that evaluation, the appraisal, you need 3 dayanim. Hagdeshis b'shlosha, if you want to redeem something that was consecrated, you need 3 dayanim. Ha'erchin, v'havatauple b'shlosha. The value of the tauple also 3. We'll see the Gemara review. Echad me'en kohen. One has to be a kohen, a karkos. If it's, let's say, a person consecrated a piece of property, and it has to be evaluated what its worth is. Tisha v'kohen. There are 9 ordinary Jews, and the 10th, one has to be a kohen. If a person, let's say, says he's consecrating the value of himself, so he has to be evaluated also, you have to have 10. 9 ordinary Jews, and 10th to be a kohen. Din the foshos, if it's a capital case, verdict, punished, death penalty, Besum Shlosha. We need 23 judges. Harovea Vanirva, a person who has relations, commits bestiality, or a woman has relations with an animal, to pass judgment on that animal, Besum Shlosha. Shenemar, as it says, Voraktis Isha Vesabema, you killed the woman, and you killed the animal who was involved in bestiality. So there's an association between the woman, just as the woman needs 23, the decision of the animal also needs 23. Vomis Abema Tarogel, Shara Niskol, an animal that kills, is stoned. That verdict is Be'esrim B'Shlosha. Shenema Asher Yisokel. The ox is stoned, the Gambol of Yumos. So again, the Torah is associating the stoning of the ox with the liability of the owner. Just as Misabailim, although over there he doesn't die, but if it would be judged to be put to death, he'd need 23. Misashor, it also needs 20. Hazei, V'ariv, Hadov, a wolf, a lion, a bear, Hanome, Abardless, Nochash, Misosa, Be'esrim. When you put them to kill them, you need 23. There you go. Speaking where they already killed, similar to the ox. You don't have to go to court. If the majority, if a shevet committed idolatry, one doesn't judge a false prophet. Here already you need the Sanhedrin Gedolah. You need the court comprised of 71 judges. One does not go to a war which is not an obligation. It's a non-compulsory war. Again, you need a bezdin of what? 71. If you want to extend Yerushalayim, Balazores, or the sanctuaries, again, you need a bezdin of 71. And also Sanhedrios, Lishvotim. You appoint Sanhedrin throughout the Jewish people, install them in each community. You need 71 judges. And also if the majority of the community did idolatry and you're going to judge, the community has to be destroyed. You need 71 judges. And also in Iridas Misvar, in the Iridachas, the community has to be destroyed and can never be rebuilt. Should not be a border town. Below Shlosha, and the Sanhedrin cannot rule on three communities to be Iridachas. But one or two is fine. Sanhedrin Gedol Shoshim ve'echad. The High Court of Israel was comprised of 71 judges. Ketana, the lesser court, was comprised of 23. How do we know the High Court was 71? Shenemar, of course, it says regarding Moshe and Esli Shivim Ish Yisrael that they were to join with him. Assemble 70 people from Yisrael, from the elders. Moshe al-Gabeim, and Moshe was the Chief Justice, so you have 71. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Shivim, 70. Because Moshe means Moshe is the equivalent of the 70, but 70 is the Sanhedrin Gedolah. How do we know the lesser court is 23? Shenema b'shaftu Eidah, it says the Eidah will judge, b'tzil Eidah, and Eidah will save. Eidah shofetes, Eidah matzel. So what is that? Eidah is clear from the Meraglim. Eidah is 10. So if you have Eidah regarding judgment, Eidah regarding saving a person, vindicating him, so that's 20. Harikan Esr. Uminayin le'edah sheyasoro. How do we know the Eidah is 10? Shenemar, it says by the Meraglim, by the spies, Mosel Eidah razos. How long am I going to tolerate this evil Eidah? And there was you also called Yeshua Kolev. That does not include Yeshua Kolev, the 12 spies. Excluding them, you have 10. Minayin lehavi ot shlosha. How do we know we add the additional 3 because it's 23? Mashish never lo siachram l'ros. You should not follow majority to find a person guilty. Means to put him to death. Right? So that means you can't. A majority of one is not sufficient. You have to have a majority of 2. Shemehani sheimoyim letova, but letova, yes. If kelomenim achram lahatos. So what does say achram lahatos? You should follow majority. Since you don't and you do, lokato yos letova atiyos l'ro. Now, when you find a person innocent, majority is 1 is sufficient. When you find a person guilty, you need a majority of 2. Hatos l'ro, hatos letova piechot. If you have a majority of 1 to vindicate a person, 1 is sufficient. If you want to find a person guilty, that you need a majority of 2. A bezdin shokel, so if you have 2, that's 20. That's 22. So if you have 22, you can have a stalemate, right? So if that's the case, how do we work it out to have a majority? That the case is, if we had a third one. So if it's 23, so 23 you can't have a stalemate. How many members have to live in the community that you have an obligation to appoint a Sanhedrin of 23 for that community? Me'ov Esrim, 120 inhabitants. You have to appoint a Sanhedrin for that community. 230 people, Keneged Sorei Soros, that correspond to the Sorei Soros. Because you have 23, so each person oversees 10 people. So that's 10 times 23 is 230. Okay, we're not going to do Rashi right now. Just go through the Gemara we did yesterday. Good. The Mishnah says that monetary laws, you have to have 3 judges. And it says, and for theft and for injury, also 3. So Mara asks the question, I mean, theft and what? And injury, that's restitution. Right? That's a monetary law. So why did the Tana state it in 2 separate cases? What the Mishnah say, Mahin, Tony. What is dini momnis? Mahin dini momnis, gzelos chabolos. Abo hodos vavos lo. But if it be admission and alone, no. For that you don't need 3. So it wasn't asked, what do you mean you don't need 3? It's shvicha. And it has to be stated that why. The Tana dini momnis, if it would say monetary laws have to have 3, habamino, that be hodos vavos. Even admissions, monetary admissions, and loans. Therefore it says no theft and injury. If it would not say dinimam, monetary laws in addition, even admissions and loans also you need 3. So why did Tana choose as the example stealing and injury? Because we learned that chapter 3 judges, smuchim, ordained by Moshe, is written in the Torah by Gzelos Chavolos Ksivi. That's what's written in the Torah. So therefore the Tana is presenting it in the context of the Psukim. Gzelos Ksiv Nikar Balabais Elohim, right? That's by the Shomer. Chavolos Mali Chavo Gufa, Mali Chavamo, what difference is it? The injury is the same as what? As taking him. That's for the Zayla. Tana. Tana, we learn Mahin Dini Momnus. So what is Dini Momnus? Right? Because Chavolos, Avodos, Vavos Lo, Ulamai. That was saying that Odos Lavos don't need, are different than Gzelos Chavolos. In what way are they different? Ilem et Lobina Shlosha doesn't mean you don't need 3. The 2 judges who will adjudicate what alone anytime money is not it's not a judgment. El Bina Muchen, the answer is they don't have to be ordained. Any 3 ordinary Jews, kosher Jews, are sufficient for Hodos Avos. Mike Sover, some more what's going on. If we say what's found in one portion is applied to the others, therefore we have 3. It says Elokim 3 times. Kosev Khan. So if you go after the pasuk, you have to have mumchin. So how can there be 3 ordinary people? And if you don't associate one with another, Shlosha Lomali, what do you need 3? Even by what? Even by Gzelos Chavolos. Where do you come up with the number 3? So Morian says, that what's stated in one parsha applies to the other parshas. And by Hodos Lavos, by loans and admission, you should need 3 who are certified by Moshe Rabbeinu. Why don't you need Mumchin? Mishum de Rav Chanina, because Rav Chanina, whether it's a monetary case, whether it's a capital crime case, the witnesses have to be interrogated to make sure they're telling the truth. Shenemar, as it says, that you deal with them with even keel. What you do by one, you do by the other. Why do we say that the testimony of monetary laws, the court does not interrogate the witnesses, because you can discourage people from lending. Because if the borrowers say never borrowed, and it's going to be almost impossible to get evidence, witnesses, because they're not going to make it through the interrogation, and say people are not going to lend money. You're closing the door in the face of the borrowers. So therefore, here also, normally you should need mumchin, but mumchin is not an easy commodity to get. Therefore, any 3 ordinary Jews are qualified to be the dayanim. Okay? Okay, further. Okay, this is as far as we got yesterday. Ephraim, you with us? Okay. So it says, now the Gemara's question, El Me'ato. If that's the case, Tolo Isham, let's say they adjudicated the case 3, or they would say by admissions and by loans, even the ordinary people, even if they're not ordained by Moshe Rabbeinu, they're qualified to be a judge. Right? Lahavdil. You don't need a Harvard law degree, right, to be a judge. Lahavdil, Elef Avdolas. You don't, we say even ordinary people, rabbinically, because you're going to discourage people from lending, because it's a hard thing to come by, therefore even 3 ordinary people qualify to be judges. So if that's the case, what's the halacha of a person's a somuch? Person, and he makes a mistake? There's no liability. So if we're saying that the ordinary Jew qualifies, so that means we should treat him like a regular judge. So if that's the case, if he should make a mistake in his judgment, he should have no financial liability. And yet he does have a financial liability. Why? Because if the person, the ordinary people are going to make a mistake, what's going to happen? The person, next time I'm not lending. If I'm not going to be compensated, financially compensated, I'm not lending. Let's take a look at Rashi. See Rashi.
Yeah.
So if an ordinary person makes a mistake regarding monetary laws, lo yishalmu, there should be no compensation. Why? The kevin since they're convening as a result by being endorsed by the Chachamim, they're like regular experts, right? The ones with the smicha. A mumchu makes a mistake, he's absolved from paying. But if he doesn't have the smicha, he's not ordained, he does pay. But if you tell me that we gave him the status of a regular mumche, as the mumche doesn't pay, he shouldn't have to pay. On that was kol shep shato no delis. The sovar dilma to beidino upachule mafsidno, because an expert usually doesn't make a mistake. But if you're saying an ordinary person, he may make a mistake. So if that's the case, the man again, it's going to be a discouragement to lend. So therefore, we say, why will be an encouragement? Worst scenario, even if he makes a mistake, I'll be compensated because the judge will have to repay me. Okay? Somebody's a question. Good. So if that's the case, we have 2 cases. Dinim moment is bishlosha, right? Bishlosha yotos. So it comes like that. We're saying the way he answered originally. He says, or Ravo says, what is dinos bishlosha? Zels v'chavolus. So you don't have to say that. 2 separate cases. Dinim moment is bishlosha. Regular monetary laws are 3. What kind of 3? Hello, 3 ordinary Jews, unordained.
Otherwise,
that's halvot. No, but I'm saying that's how we read the Mishnah.
Right.
It says chavolus bishlosha mumchin. And when it says theft and injury, that's 3 experts, because there's no reason.
Right.
The ode, that's first. What are you telling me that when the Mishnah says chavos, it's an interpretation of dinim moment is, so it shouldn't say 3 twice. It say dinim momentos. Then it say gzels v'chavolos b'shlosha. The Mishnah say 2 separate things. Dinim momentos b'shlosha is 1. Gzels chavolos b'shlosha is another. Mishum d'Rab Chanina. Mishum d'Rab Chanina, that what? Means, dinim momentos b'shlosha is what? Hello. That's halvos v'odos. Hodos halvos. 3 ordinary Jews. Gzels chavolos b'shlosha, that is mumchin. That's mumchin. That's Rab Chanina. Okay?
So he agrees.
No, he's learning differently. The way Rabbi Bo said it, when Mishnah says Gzels v'chavos, that's an interpretation of dinim momentos b'shlosha. So Rabbi says, no, it's 2 separate cases. One's not an interpretation of the other. Dinim momentos b'shlosha mean ordinary monetary. That's loans and admissions, 3 ordinary Jews. Gzels v'chavolos b'shlosha, those are 3 mumchin. And also the Jewish chakira. Right? By Hodos Vos, you don't need Jewish chakira, you don't need interrogation. But by Gzels v'chavolos, you would need interrogation. On a Torah level, you do not need 3 dayanim. On a Torah level. Second, It says you should judge your fellow with honestly. That's it. So that's even one judge. So what do you need three? Yoshi Kronos. Because the people who had to sit idly in the market and just whittle away the time. 1 second. Smart says, what does it mean? Because you have three, because you hope that among the three, one will be not a Yoshi Kronos. Smart says, but also below have Yoshi Kronos. If you tell me a person's a Yoshi Kronos, doesn't qualify to be a judge. So if you have three, does it mean say one of the three made up a Yoshi Kronos? Yeah. If you have three, it's inevitable one of them is an expert. Yeah, meaning he has to do with business. He's not a person who sits around idly. Elamiata totally shalmu. Yeah, he says if that's the case, if they make a mistake, they shouldn't have to pay. Why do they have to pay? Kosh came to the Fisha Yoshi Kronos. He says definitely. Because that will encourage people, if there's no liability, if there's a liability, he's going to try to understand.
Right.
But if there's no liability, you only encourage people for sitting idly and wasting their minds. Rashi. If Odos and Avos needs three, Loma Leilu Rabavo, Lokuma Masisim. But originally, Rabbi Vo said the Mishnah is qualifying. What is the moment is? It means Shlosha. So Mar says Tartik Toni. So therefore, Rabbi says it's two separate cases. Kolduhu, three ordinary people. Koldu means even hedjotos, even ordinary people. But if it's Chabolos, the three, you need three experts. And since each one has its own criteria, what's a judge, what's not a judge. Therefore, it says it as two separate statements. Which you don't need mumchin, you don't need interrogation. That's Hodos Valvos. You need both. You need mumchin and you need interrogation. Tomorrow asks Shlosha. So therefore, Rabbi says, Tartik Toni. The Mishnah say two things. Tarik Toni, Devare Gimel Binon, the of parshas Ksiv. You need three. On a Torah level, you need three judges. Even by Hodos Valvos. Umiu, Bejot Sagi. Rabbinically, a hedjud is good enough. Mishum Rab Chanino, because Shlotino does Pnei Lovin. Ochi Kama. Dini Moment Stein, Hodos Valvos, Bishlosha, hedjotos.
Average.
Ordinary people. Says Chavolos, but if it's Gzeil Chavolo, there's no reason to us to reduce the standard, the caliber. Bishlosha mumchin. 1 second. So that's a rava. So now, Ravika says no. On a Torah level, one judge is enough. The reason why you need three is for Yoshvi Kronos. Bishlosha Yotos, Chadami Bodos, Valvos, Dechsiv Tishbot. It says B'tzedek Tishbot Amisach. That's singular. Loshin Yochid Vein Erev Parshas. And if you don't Erev Parsha, you don't intermingle the Parshas. Umasnitza Vadi Tartik Toni. And the Mishnah is speaking two cases. K'amoran Yushlosha Bodos Valvos Lav D'Oraisa. That you need three by loans and by admissions. That's not in Torah law. You don't need three. It's Drabonon. One's enough for D'Oraisa. Because it says B'tzedek Tishbot in singular. Why? What's the reason? It's merchants that they're not really adept in the laws of commerce. He'll cause the one that has to pay to be absolved, and the one that has to be absolved to pay the gomer. So the Gemara says it's impossible that among three you're not going to find one of them that's adept in what? In the laws of commerce. He had heard from the Chachomim and from other judges, Hilchas din milver. So totally shalmo dobrishus nachti avodoraisa. That's the case. They're permitted, even on Torah level. And that's his kosher fishing yoshi kronos. There's nothing to encourage. If you say there's a liability, they're going to want to have they have an interest knowing what the halach is. But if there'll never be a liability, they wouldn't care. Yeah. Whatever they say, whatever comes to mind, would be good enough. Okay. Back to the Gemara. Elamiat tolu yishamu. To. The Gemara says koshkim fishish yikoros. It's not a Gemara S. Ma'iko bein rova the Ravachim bein Rabika. Ravachim is the last one. What's the halachic difference between two of them? Iga bein Nayu. The difference is Amar Shmuel Shnab Shadon Lidinei and Dim. It says Shmuel says, what's the name of Shmuel, that two judges will give a verdict post facto. It's valid. If you hold you need three midoraisa, nothing. But if you hold midoraisa, you only need one. So that's why post facto it's good. The Rava less like the Shmuel. Rava rejects Shmuel. Two judges will give a verdict. It's not a valid verdict. But according to Rav Ika, he would concur with Shmuel, because since midoraisa you only need one and three is rabbinical, therefore b'di'evet post facto, if two rule, it's valid. Okay.
So they evaluate. It's like witnesses, or just it's not in that ballpark.
What?
But you have two judges. It's as if they're giving.
Let's do Rashi. Yes. Bezdin Chotzu. The Rava, the Raisa Tlosabina. Rav says you need three on the Torah level. Leslie de Shmuel. Doma Dinei and Din, who says the verdict is valid. Bezdin Chotzu. It's called the Bezdin Chotzu. It's called a brazen court. If rabbinically you need three, what are you playing games with two? She'ovra Takanos Chachomim, because they violated the rabbinical enactment. You need three. Okay. Okay. The Mishnah continues. Nezek, Chatzi Nezek. What do you need? You need three. So we have a problem. Nezek means damages. That's restitution. Chatzi Nezek Kefil. That's Knas. But why does it say Nezek together with Knas? What's this? Nezek Hainu Chavolos. What's that? Damages. Damages like injury. Whether I injure a person or cause injury to an animal. Same thing. Nezek is really restitution. It's only mentioned because of Chatzi Nezek. Tininamin Nezek Shalom, somewhere says. Nezek Nami Hainu Chavolos. Nezek is also injury. Tana, Mamonuk, Tana Knosa, no. The first Mishnah is speaking about monetary, then it's speaking about Knas. Chatzi Nezek Knas, which is Machlokes Amoroim. Honi Chumat Yom Palginisko Knoso. If your Chatzi Nezek is a Knas, which we'll see Rashi in a moment, it's only a penalty. Because at the Torah level, you should really pay nothing. It's only the Torah wants you to be more careful, therefore it gives you a 50% liability. But according to the opinion, that 50% is what? Is monetary payment. It's only partial payment. Michael Meimar. So why does it say it together with Chatzi Nezek?
Right.
Why does it say it should say it together with what? With the second case, Gzel Chavolos, and it said Nezek Chatzi Nezek, right? That's what the Mishnah should read. El I did to misli tashlumi keifa tashlumi abachamisha. Nezek and Chatzi Nezek is momo. So why does it have to say? Why does it say it there? Because it wants to continue. Since you're paying more than you have to or less, because this kefil, which nobody argues, definitely is penalty. Tashlumi abachamisha, that you pay 4 for the ox.
Right.
And 5 for the goat. That's also the sheep. That's rabbinical. Ella I did kaboy Mr. Tashlum Kevin Tashlum Bachamisha the Momon. The Momon She'eno Mishtalim Barosh. It's not something you're paying. You're compensating for the full value. Tanami Chatzi Nezek Momon She'en Mishtalim Barosh. Means really you shouldn't pay it. You pay 4 or 5 because you should pay it. It's the same thing over here. You shouldn't pay it either. You're not paying. But I did kaboy Mr. Chatzi Nezek Toni Nami Nezek. Okay, let's see Rashi. Chatzi Nezek Nami Hainu Chavolos. You have it, Rashi? Howard.
Yes.
The short time shechovel eno mishal melachatzi nezek. A non-goring animal, gores, you only pay 50% liability. We came to the chavolos, chatzi nezek mashma. So if it says chavolos, what do we have to articulate? Chatzi nezek, that's included in damages, in injury. Chavolos mamonu, the opposite of dummy. Chavolos is what? Is classed as monetary because what? It's restitution. Because by damaging the animal, you've reduced its value. Chatzi nezek knosim, but chatzi nezek is knas. Why? The stav shuram enim noken. The ordinary animal, it's docile.
Right.
It's not a gora. Therefore, there's no liability on the owner. You should have been more cognizant of its behavior. Shlohuat, of course, it hasn't been established as a gora. In truth, the owner should pay nothing. Should pay nothing because he didn't fail. He wasn't delinquent in his responsibility as a custodian. El knosu the katzir rachmona. The Torah is penalizing him. The Torah wants you to be more careful. On a responsible, you are responsible. However, the Torah wants you to be more responsible. That's the reason why, even if it's a non-gora, it's considered monetary and not knas. If you say the average ox is a gora, so that's the case, that's monetary. Medina kulalami b'shlumi. And really you should pay 100%. The Havale Mintere, you should have watched over it. Rahman since it's not obvious to you in your mind that it's a gora, we'll give you a 50% reduction. There's only 50% liability, although you should be obligated in everything. Shein b'shtam b'rosh, shemshal yosef min hakeren, means you're paying more than the principal. Chatzi nezek b'shal pochos min hakeren b'rosh. Hainu keren, v'chsiv v'shilim also b'rosho. That means you pay full value. Okay, let's start from the two dots again. Shloishim in Olam. How do we know you have to have 3 dayanim? Right? The mission says you have to have 3 judges for a bezdin. The Ton Rabbona, v'nikra balabais elo Elohim. So what's Elohim? That's a person, a bezdin, harek kanechot. One Elohim, that's one judge. Ar Elohim yovud varshneim. You should bring the 2 defendants, you should bring it Ar Elohim, Harikan Shnayim, that's 2. We have to, Elohim indicates there's a godliness too. That means they're smuchim. They were ordained by Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay? So Harikan Shnayim, Asher Yashin Elohim, that if the court should find you guilty, since it's Elohim a 3rd time, Harikan Shlosha, Divrei Rabbi Yoshia. So Rabbi Yoshia says, because it says Elohim 3 times, that's the reason why you're a what? That's the reason why I have these shluchim.
That's a debt.
What? It would say why you need 3, because it's Elohim 3 times.
Right.
Okay, that's Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef, no. Rishon Tchila Nemar. The first Elohim is not counted because it's mentioned once. You have to introduce it. Where are you going? You're going to Bezdin. Rishon Tchilo Nemar. Ve'doshen Tchilos. So how do you count the number to become 3? Elohim Yovu Dvar Shneim Harakanechot. That's the first one. First one's not counted because you just have to open the discussion. Asher Yashir Elohim Harakin Shnayim. Ve'im Bezdin Shokul. And you can't have a situation where you could come to a stalemate. So what do you do? So you add another one. Harekat Shlosha. So what are they arguing? They're only arguing not in the halacha. They both agree ultimately you need 3. Except the question is, do I interpret the first one as one of the 3? Right? It's the shayla. That's the machlokas of Yonason and Rabbi Yoshia. Some verses name up, there's Chilas, seeming they're arguing, do I interpret the opening word which is just beginning the discussion? The Mar Sova Dorshin, one of them holds you do, and therefore how do I know 3 Dayanim, even including counting the first Elohim? Well, Mar Sova ain't Dorshin Chilos. And the other one holds you can't count the first word. Therefore it's because of Bezin Shokul. Was low. No. The Kuli Alma ain't Dorshin Chilos. Everybody concurs. The first word in the parsha you don't interpret. Amalach Rabbi Yoshia Imkein Nema Kro V'Nikra Balabayis El HaShofet. He says, I disagree. Why ain't those? If you wanted to say because we're talking about going to court, it could have said Nikra Balabayis to the judge. Why did the judge refer to as Elokim? My Elokim. He wants to show this has no relevance if the first opening statement we don't interpret. Because it could have said Shofet. What does it say Elohim? My Elohim, Shema Min Olam Minyono. To tell me that he should be counted as one of the judges who have to be ordained. Rabbi Yoda said, it's usually it's the vernacular. Elohim. As people speak, the person who has judgment, go to court. It's a way a person says it. Okay. Listen down, Manokat. Rabbi Yoshi, someone says, Rabbi Yoshi, Leslie Bezdin, Notef. Bezdin doesn't hold that you have to have Achram Lahatos, because we said according to Rabbi Yoshia, it says Elohim 3 times. Right. So that's nothing to do because Achram Lahatos. Seemingly, if you're Achram Lahatos, you don't. One of the Elokims is superfluous. Yeah. You don't need it. You don't need it. Right. So that's more square. Rabbi Yoshia, Leslie Bezdin, Notef. He doesn't concur with the principle that the Bezdin has to go after the majority. Lotanya, Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Yosef, Glilo, Matam, Loba, Lintos, Achar, Rabim, Lahatois. Okay. Rabbi Yosef, Leslie, Bezdin, Noter, Lotanya, Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Yosef, Glilo, Matam, Loba, Lintos, Achar, Rabim, Lahatos. You should sway after the majority. Matam, Loba, yeah. You should make a bezdin which leans, which means that you can have a majority. That's what it means. Lintos achir rabim. You should sway after the rabim. Lahatois. Hatayr omer asil bezdin noite. Sovar lo krevjuda doma shivim. So if you hold 70, even though you can have a stalemate.
35.
Yeah. So he says, therefore he holds, therefore I say 2. If I would have 2, it would be enough. Because you see a stalemate, it's not sufficient, because he holds, once it's Sanhedrin Gdola, 70 judges, which you could have a stalemate. If not, Sanhedrin Gdola, Hoyso Shishim B'echod, Rabbi Yehuda Obe Shivim. The Tanakh says it was 71, but Rabbi Yehuda says it was 70. Eimed shamet lei. Rabbi Yehuda b'Sanhedrin Gedol l'chsivi kroi shab beidina mishamet lei.